Hello everyone, welcome back to Edumon tutorial series. I am Karthik, the instructor for Object-Oriented Programming. In the previous lecture, we covered the introduction to C++. In today's lecture, we will be learning a little more about the subtopics in this chapter. In the previous lecture, we started from basic structure of a C++ program and covered till derived data types. In this lecture, we will be dealing with variable declaration, dynamic initialization, type modifiers, typecasting, input-output statements in C++, followed by some operators and example programs. Variable declaration. Variables can be initialized and the initial values can be assigned along with their declaration. Now let's look at the syntax. The syntax is quite simple. It is just the data type which is followed by a variable name. This part is called as the variable definition. And then assigning a value to the defined variable is known as initialization. So the entire process of both defining and initializing the variable is called as declaration. Now let's look at the example. Here we have int width, height which is equal to 5 and age which is equal to 32. So basically width, height and age are variables of type int where height is assigned the value 5 and age is assigned the value 32. Similarly we have a character data type which is called char, and the name of the variable is letter and its value is capital A. Similarly, we have float, area and double D. These are the definition parts. Now when width is equivalent to 10 and area is equal to 26.5, this is the actual initialization part. So basically variable declaration in short is a two-step process. The first step includes variable definition and the second step includes variable initialization. And in total it's called as variable declaration. Dynamic initialization. The process of initializing variable at the time of its declaration at runtime is known as dynamic initialization of a variable. Now normally variable declaration happens during the time of compilation or the compile time, whereas the dynamic initialization of variable is during the runtime of the program. So thus in dynamic initialization of a variable is assigned value at the runtime at the time of its declaration. Let's look at an example. Here we have int main, which is the starting point of the execution, that's the main function. And then we have a variable called int a, and then the statement enter value of a prints on the screen, and then cin a, which takes an integer value from the user and stores it in the variable a. And then here comes the dynamic initialization part, wherein the variable cube, which is of data type int, is equal to cubes of a. That is, int cube is equal to a into a into a. Here cube is dynamically initialized, that is during the runtime when it comes to know what the actual value of a is, and then its value to the computer screen. And this is done using the cout statement, that is cout, the cube of a is, and then the cube value will be printed. In actual sense it will be running as enter the value of a. Let's think the user enters 5, then cube will be computed as 5 into 5 into 5, which is equivalent to 125, and then the result will be printed to the screen, that is the cube of 5 is 125. And at the end, due to the endl, the cursor will be moving to the next line. Now type modifiers. C++ allows the character, int and double data types to have modifiers preceding them. A modifier is used to alter the meaning of the base type so that it more precisely fits the need of various situations. The data type modifiers are listed here: signed, unsigned, long, short. The modifiers signed, unsigned, long and short can be applied to integer base types. In addition, signed and unsigned can be applied to character and long can be applied to double. Typecasting. Converting an expression of a given type into another type is known as typecasting. So basically the typecasting is of two types. The first one is the implicit type conversion, and the second one is the explicit type conversion. Implicit type conversion. This is also known as automatic type conversion. This is done by the compiler on its own without any external trigger from the user. This generally takes place when in an expression more than one data type is present, such that always the lower data type will be typecasted to the upper data type. In such condition, type conversions or type promotion takes place to avoid loss of data. All the data types of variables are upgraded to the data type of the variable with the largest data type. So now let's look at the order of implicit typecasting. So initially the bool or the boolean data type will be upcasted to character, then to short integer, then to integer, then to unsigned integer, long, unsigned long, long, float, double and long double. Now let's look at an example. Here 10 is assigned to a variable x which is of integer data type, and a lowercase alphabet a is assigned to a variable y which is of character data type. And in the ASCII table, the value of a is 97. Now when x is equal to x plus y, here 97 is added to the value of 10 and it is stored in x. Similarly, float z is equals to x plus 1.0. So here 1 is added to x. Now using the cout statement, the values of x, y and z will be printed out to the screen. So here x will be equal to the value of x followed by the next line using the endl. Then y is equals to the value of y, and then the cursor goes to the next line again. And then we have z is equals to the value of z, and then the cursor goes to the next line. Now let's look at the output. Here x is equals to 107 because of 97 plus 10. And then y will be equal to a. This is the original initialized value. And then we have z is equals to 108. And the second type of conversion is the explicit type conversion. This process is also called as typecasting, and it is user defined. Here the user can typecast the result to make it of a particular data type. In C++, it can be done by two ways. The first way is converting by assignment. This is done by explicitly defining the required type in front of the expression in parentheses. This can also be considered as forceful casting. Now let's look at the syntax. The syntax is very simple. Here target data type is enclosed between the brackets followed by the expression, where type indicates the data type in which the final result is converted. Now let's look at an example. Double x is equals to 1.2. And here we are explicitly converting double to integer value. Here we are explicitly converting double to integer value. Now int sum is equals to int in the parenthesis followed by variable x plus 1. So here int x will contain the typecasted value of double of x. That is 1.2 is typecasted to 1. Now int sum is equals to 1 plus 1. So the value stored in sum will be now equivalent to 2. You can also note that explicit type conversion is used to downcast the type of variable. Whereas in implicit type conversion, you can see that it's used to upcast the type of variable. That is, using implicit type conversion, you can convert from integer to long and then to double. That's in an increasing order. But using the explicit type conversion, we are converting from double to an integer. The other method is conversion using cast operator. A cast operator is an unary operator which forces one data type to be converted into another data type. C++ supports four types of casting operator. The first one is the static cast, second one is the dynamic cast, third one is the constant cast, fourth one is the reinterpret cast. Float f is equals to 3.5, int b is equals to static underscore cast of f. That is the variable f. Now int b will be explicitly casted to the value of f. So 3.5 will become 3. Now cout b will give the output as 3. So what's the advantage of using the type conversion or typecasting? This is done to take advantage of certain features of type hierarchies or type representations. And the second one is, it helps to compute expressions containing variables of different data types. Input-output statements in C++. Cin and cout are two predefined objects which represent standard input and standard output stream. The standard output stream represents the screen, while the standard input stream represents the keyboard. These objects are the members of IOStream class. Hence, the header file should be included in the beginning of all programs. Example, #include IOStream, and in the next line you can see that using namespace std is mentioned. We'll learn more about this in the upcoming lectures. Int main is the main function, and in that we have a variable I declared. Now using cin, I will take the input from the user, and using cout, I will display the output to the screen. Now there might be a case where you are required to display or take in the values of multiple variables at a single time. During that time, you will be using the cascading operators. It is possible to use the insertion and extraction operators repeatedly in cin and cout statements. Multiple use of these operators is called cascading. For example, the extraction operator can be cascaded as follows. So the two angular brackets in cout is called as the extraction operators. So the statement can be written as cout followed by a set of extraction operators, then the variable name b1, another set of extraction operators, then a space, now another set of extraction operators, and the variable b2. This statement sends first the value of b1 to cout, two blank spaces, and then the value of b2 to cout. The insertion operator can be cascaded as follows. Here we have seen, then the insertion operator followed by variable val1, then another insertion operator, then val2. The values are assigned from left to right. That is, the first value entered is assigned to val1, and then the second value entered is assigned to val2. Now let's look at operators in C++. Operators are the foundation of any programming languages. Thus, the functionality of C++ programming language is incomplete without the use of operators. We can define operators as symbols that help us to perform specific mathematical and logical computations on the operands. In other words, we can say that an operator operates the operands. For example, consider the below statement. C is equal to A plus B. Here plus is the operator known as addition operator, and A and B are operands. The addition operator tells the compiler to add both operands A and B, and the result is stored in the variable C. Now there are different types of operators in C++. Let's look at them one by one. Arithmetic operators. These are the operators used to perform arithmetic or mathematical operations on the operands. These include addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modular division, unary increment or unary decrement. Arithmetic operators are of two types. Unary operators. Operators that operate or works with a single operand are unary operators. For example, unary plus and unary minus. Binary operators. Operators that works or operates with multiple operands are binary operators. For example, plus, minus, multiplication, division. Now let's look at relational operators. Relational operators are used for comparison of the values of two operands. For example, checking if one operand is equal to the other operand or not, an operand is greater than another operand or not, etc. Some of the relational operators are double equals to, which is used to check the equality, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. Logical operators. Logical operators are used to combine two or more conditionals or constraints, or to complement the evaluation of the original condition in consideration. The result of the operator of a logical operation is Boolean value, that is either true or false. The logical operators include logical or logical and, or negation. Bitwise operators. The bitwise operators is used to perform bit level operations on the operands. The operators are first converted to bit level and then calculation is performed on the operands. The mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, etc. can be performed at bit level for faster processing. The bitwise operators include bitwise AND, bitwise OR, and XOR. Assignment operators. Assignment operators are used to assign value to a variable. The left side operand of the assignment operator is a variable and the right side operand of the assignment operator is a value. The value on the right side must be of the same data type of the variable on the left side. Otherwise, the compiler will raise an error. Different types of assignment operators are shown below. Equal to. This is the simplest assignment operator. This operator is used to assign the value on the right to the variable on the left. For example, int a is equal to 10. Here 10 is assigned to the variable a. Similarly, int b is equal to 20. Here 20 is assigned to variable b. Here small y is assigned to a character variable ch. Now let's look at shorthand operator. Plus equal to. This operator is a combination of plus and equal to operator. This operator first adds the current value of the variable on the left to the value on the right and then assigns the result to the variable on the left. For example, a plus equal to 6 can be written as a is equal to a plus 6. If initially value stored in a is 5, then a plus is equal to 6 will be equivalent to 11. That is, a is equals to 5 plus 6, that is 11. Similarly, minus equal to. This operator is a combination of minus and equal to operators. This operator first subtracts the value on right from the current value of the variable on the left and then assigns the result to the variable on left. Similarly, we have multiplication equal to, division equal to, and modular division equal to. So that's all from today's lecture, guys. A link to few example programs regarding operators is provided in the description. Kindly check it out. Thank you, guys.